My name is Sarah Mitchell, and for the past 3 years, I've been secretly paying my parents' mortgage, their car loans, and even their credit card debt. Not because I had to, but because despite everything they were still my parents. That was until last week when they called me ungrateful. The final word that made me realize just how blind I'd been. I grew up in a middle-class family in suburban Chicago. My parents, David and Marie Mitchell, weren't wealthy, but we had enough. That changed when I was 16 and my father lost his job at a major manufacturing company. The comfortable life we knew started crumbling, piece by piece. While my parents desperately tried to maintain appearances, taking out loans they couldn't afford and refinancing the house multiple times, I worked. Every day after school, weekends, summers, I did whatever I could to help. My younger brother Kevin just shrugged it off, saying it wasn't his problem. He was the golden child, the one they were protecting from stress. I put myself through college, working 2 jobs while studying finance. My parents never came to my graduation. Kevin had a football game that day. When I landed my first job at an investment firm, they barely noticed. "At least you're making something of yourself," my mother said, more focused on Kevin's college applications. But I didn't stop there. While everyone thought I was just another junior analyst, I was learning everything I could about the mortgage industry, about how banks worked, about the system that had trapped my parents in a cycle of debt. By 25, I had started my own financial consulting firm. By 28, I had acquired several small lending companies. No one in my family knew about my success. They still saw me as the same struggling Sarah, living in a modest apartment, driving a used car. What they didn't know was that I owned the building I lived in, and that used car was a choice, not a necessity. When I discovered my parents were 3 months behind on their mortgage payments, I quietly bought their debt through one of my companies. I started paying everything, $90,000 in total over 3 years. I made sure they never knew it was me. I thought I was helping them, protecting them from their own financial mistakes. Last week I went to their house for dinner. Kevin was there, showing off his new luxury car, bought with money our parents had borrowed against their house. "Sarah," my mother said, eyeing my simple clothes, "you could try a little harder, you know. Look at Kevin, he's doing so well." I couldn't hold back anymore. "Mom, do you know how much debt you're in? The new loan for Kevin's car." "That's none of your business," my father snapped. "We support your brother because he deserves it. He has ambition." "I've been helping you," I said quietly. "For years I've been helping," my mother laughed. "What? Your little consulting job? Don't be ridiculous." Kevin smirked from the couch. "Yes, is some help you've been. Mom and Dad had to refinance the house again because you never chip in." That's when I finally told them. "I've been paying your mortgage, your cars, your credit cards, everything." The room went silent. Then my father exploded. "You're so ungrateful," he screamed. "After everything we've done for you, you have the audacity to lie about helping us? Get out. Get out." My mother was crying not because she felt bad for me, but because I had embarrassed them in front of Kevin. My brother just sat there, that smug smile still on his face. I stood up slowly, my hands shaking not from fear but from anger. "Okay," I said calmly. "You're right. I am ungrateful. And you know what? I'm done." As I walked to my car, I could hear them still yelling about how I was trying to make them look bad, how I was jealous of Kevin's success. They had no idea what was coming. That night, I made a call to my office. "Susan," I told my assistant, "cancel all payments on the Mitchell accounts. All of them. And prepare the foreclosure paperwork. It's time they learned where their money really comes from." 1 month. That's all it would take. 1 month before they realized that their ungrateful daughter wasn't just their daughter. She was their banker, their creditor, and soon their worst nightmare. The first sign that something was wrong came exactly 1 week after our fight. I was sitting in my real office, not the small consulting room my family thought I worked from, but the penthouse suite of the Mitchell Financial Group's headquarters. The name wasn't a coincidence. I'd chosen it as a private joke, a reminder of where I came from. Ms. Mitchell, Susan appeared at my door. Your brother is trying to use his credit card at Carson Luxury Motors. It's been declined. I smiled, remembering Kevin's smug face. Let me guess, he's trying to put a down payment on another car? Yes, ma'am. Should I authorize it? No, I said firmly. Let it fail. It's time for some reality checks. The calls started that evening. First from Kevin, then my mother, finally my father. I let them all go to voicemail, each message more desperate than the last. Sarah, something's wrong with my cards. I know you're just a consultant, but maybe you could look into it. Honey, we're having some trouble with the bank. Could you help us figure it out? Sarah, this is your father. Call us back immediately. All our accounts are frozen. I listened to each message, remembering every time they dismissed my achievements, every family dinner where they'd praised Kevin while ignoring my success. The company I'd built now managed over $2 billion in assets, but to them I was still just their struggling daughter who needed to try harder. 2 weeks after I canceled the payments, the first official notice arrived at their house. I had made sure it was sent in a bright red envelope, impossible to ignore. Inside was a formal letter from Mitchell Financial Group, outlining their payment delinquencies and the impending foreclosure. My mother called me in tears. Sarah, please, we need help. We got this terrible letter. We might lose the house. What letter? I kept my voice neutral. From some company, Mitchell Financial. They say we haven't made payments, but that's impossible. We've been getting mysterious help for years. We thought maybe it was one of Dad's old work friends. I almost laughed at the irony. Send me a picture of the letter, I said. I'll take a look. Minutes later my phone buzzed. There it was, my signature at the bottom of the letter, clear as day. President and CEO Sarah Mitchell, Mitchell Financial Group. Did you look at it? I asked. Yes, but I don't understand all these terms. The CEO's name is the same as yours. Isn't that funny? Maybe you could talk to them since you share a name. Mom, I said slowly, look at the signature again. Really look at it. Silence. Then a sharp intake of breath. This can't be right. This signature. It looks like mine. I finished for her. That's because it is mine. Mitchell Financial Group is my company, Mom. I own it. I've owned it for years. All those mysterious payments, the help you never questioned, that was me. The phone went silent for so long I thought she'd hung up. Then I heard her calling for my father, her voice shaking. David, come here right now. I put the phone on speaker and waited. I could hear papers rustling, my father's heavy footsteps. Sarah. His voice was different now, uncertain, almost afraid. What is this? What have you done? Nothing yet, I replied calmly. I've simply stopped doing what I've been doing for the past 3 years, paying your bills, covering your debts, keeping you afloat while you gave everything to Kevin. But you're just a consultant, he stammered. No, Dad. I'm the CEO of one of the largest financial groups in the Midwest. I own the company that holds your mortgage, your car loans, your credit cards. Every payment you thought was a miracle, that was me. Why? My mother's voice cracked. Why didn't you tell us? Would you have believed me? When have you ever believed in me? I could hear the bitterness in my voice. I told you I was helping and you threw me out. Called me ungrateful. Well, now you can be grateful to the bank instead. That's when Kevin's voice joined the conversation. This is bullshit. You're lying. There's no way you own a company like that. Kevin, I said sweetly, how do you think you qualified for all those car loans with your terrible credit score? Check your loan documents. Who's the lender? Mitchell Financial Group. My company. You can't do this to us. My father's voice had turned angry. We're your family. Family. I laughed. Was I family when you missed my graduation? When you remortgaged the house to buy Kevin a car but told me you couldn't help with my student loans? When you called me ungrateful after I spent years secretly supporting you? We didn't know. My mother whispered. Exactly. You never bothered to know anything about me. Well, now you know. You have 30 days to make all pending payments. That's $127,000 total. Otherwise, foreclosure proceedings will begin. We don't have that kind of money. Kevin shouted. Not my problem anymore. Maybe sell some of those cars I helped you buy. I paused, letting that sink in. When Kevin, the lease on your apartment? I own that building too. You should check your mail. Your rent is going up. Way up. I could hear them all talking at once now. My mother crying, my father swearing, Kevin threatening legal action. I let them go on for a moment before speaking again. I have a board meeting to attend. Unlike some people in this family, I actually work for my money. Good luck with the payments. I hung up, but my phone immediately started ringing again. Text messages poured in. Mom, please honey, we can talk about this. Dad, you can't do this to your own family. Kevin, you'll regret this, Sarah. Just wait. I forwarded them all to my legal team, then turned back to my work. On my desk was a photo I'd kept hidden for years, my college graduation. I'm alone in the picture, no family around me, but I'm smiling. That was the day I promised myself I'd never need anyone's approval again. Susan appeared at my door again. Your mother's in the lobby, Ms. Mitchell. She's causing quite a scene. I stood up, straightening my suit. Have security escort her to conference room 3. It's time she saw exactly who her ungrateful daughter has become. The walk to the conference room felt like a victory lap. Through the glass walls, I could see my mother's eyes widening as she took in my designer suit, the way every employee nodded respectfully as I passed. Gone was the simple outfit I wore to family dinners, the careful disguise of mediocrity. Mom, I said as I entered, welcome to my little consulting business. She stared at me like she was seeing a stranger. In a way she was. So, all this, how? Hard work, I replied. Something you and Dad always said I never did enough of, remember? While you were focused on Kevin's football games, I was building this. While you were remortgaging the house to buy him cars, I was acquiring companies. Every time you told me I needed to try harder, I was already running a multi-billion-dollar corporation. We didn't know. She whispered again. You never asked. I sat down across from her. You never cared enough to ask. But why hide it? Why let us think? Because I wanted to see if you would ever be proud of me just for being me. Not for money, not for success, just for who I am. I met her eyes. You failed that test spectacularly. She started crying again, but I'd grown immune to her tears. What can we do? Your father and I, we can't lose the house. You have options, I said professionally. You can pay what you owe or you can face foreclosure. The same options any other client would have. We're not just any other client. We're your parents. No, I stood up. You're people who happened to raise me, who never believed in me, who called me ungrateful after I spent years helping you. Now you get to experience what being ungrateful really means. As security escorted her out, I heard her last desperate plea. We're sorry, Sarah. We didn't know. But that was the problem. They should have known. They should have seen me, believed in me, supported me. Instead, they'd chosen Kevin, chosen appearances, chosen willful ignorance. Over the next few weeks, my family tried everything. They begged, threatened, attempted to guilt-trip me through relatives. Kevin even tried to get a lawyer involved, until he discovered that Mitchell Financial Group had connections to every major law firm in the city. My father showed up at my office once, demanding to speak to the board about my unfair treatment of family. He left quickly when he realized I was the majority shareholder. There would be no appealing to a higher power. I was the higher power. In the end, they had to sell most of their assets to keep the house. Kevin's cars, my mother's jewelry, my father's prized collectibles, all gone. They downsized, moved to a smaller place, and for the first time in their lives had to live within their means. Some might call it revenge, but I saw it as a necessary lesson. Sometimes people only understand their mistakes when they face real consequences. A year later, I received an invitation to a family dinner. I almost threw it away, but something made me open it. Inside was a handwritten note from my mother. We were wrong. About everything. Not just about your success, but about who you are. We don't deserve forgiveness, but we'd like a chance to truly know our daughter. Not the person we thought you were, but the amazing woman you've become. I haven't decided if I'll go yet. Part of me wants to, not to forgive necessarily, but to finally be seen for who I am. Another part remembers years of dismissal, of being the family afterthought, of never being good enough. But one thing's certain, they'll never call me ungrateful again. Because now they know that their comfortable life had always depended on the daughter they never bothered to really know.